couple brief things. We have the agenda over there, some things we wanted to bring up, and we only got half an hour, so we'll do our best to use our time efficiently.
When teachers talk to each other, teachers learn from each other. There's so many great ideas that our teachers come up with that engage kids, get kids to think outside of the box, that I'm just amazed at what we can accomplish when we work together. Individuals create great ideas, but really to move schools forward, I believe that everyone needs to be together and dialoguing with each other and creating a conversation about how to best serve students.
I feel really fortunate that at our school we have grade level prep, which means that every day all the 6th grade teachers are able to discuss various topics, whether that be student concerns we have or how to better integrate curriculum. Here is what remains of the weather balloon. We're really excited. This is actually pretty much everything, minus the balloon itself.
Oh, fun.
Last year, an engineering teacher and myself thought it'd be really great to have a sort of science engineering crossover project where we launched a high altitude weather balloon way up into the stratosphere with the intention of getting some unique data to help reinforce 6th grade topics of watershed studies and whatnot.
3, 2, 1,
And here is the tree it landed on, somewhere in the Klickitat.
Yeah.
It went somewhere in between. And that's what we're going to try to show to everyone using this data that everyone's pawing through right now. I definitely had a pretty clear idea in mind of what I wanted to do upon retrieving our weather balloon, and it was great to bring the topic to the rest of the team to find out how we could connect it to language arts and other content areas. Yesterday, we were able to make a crossover connection to math. I was having students actually looking through the data, and I was trying to rack my brain about how we might make more of a robust language arts connection. That's not my strength. I was wondering if you guys had any
also
ideas.
do a really cool imagination piece with the travel of that too.
Look at the pictures, trace the
But I
path of it,
think
tell
it's a
the
great way
story.
to bring in the scientific writing too. I mean, you could do both. You could take both.
You could
takes on
do
it.
the same type of writing for both of them. One would be scientific writing and one would be creative writing, and basically we're inspired by one single experience, and how could you look at it from different perspectives?
That'd be cool.
You have to provide the structure for collaboration. That's essential. You can't have collaboration if teachers don't have time to collaborate. And so by tweaking a master schedule, you can provide opportunities for collaboration. That collaboration leads to great things.
Because of that common prep time, it allows every team to plan field trips that allow them to figure out how do we relate the curriculum within the different subject areas. So remember we went on the field trip. That was gathering data for helping the kids understand science based on where we live and our unique geology in the gorge.
When the science teachers decided to do this geology unit on land formations, we saw the opportunity as language arts teachers to bring the idea of the legends that explain these into reading and language arts so they could write a legend and then perform it. And they could choose to work alone or in partners or in a group, and they've done skits and storybooks and comic strips and puppet shows and iMovies. So yeah,
Are
they're
those recorded somewhere that we could watch, or were they? We took a trip and it was meant to be for science, and then in this class we're writing legends about Beacon Rock and Watchella Falls and how Hood River Gorge came to be.
The effect for the kids is they hear common messages rather than it being discrete classrooms and subjects and teachers and classes. They see it all relating together.
It is incredibly important to allow teachers to collaborate and work together, not only to enrich the learning of all their students, but ourselves as professionals.
If we're learning at our highest potential as teachers, it's only going to serve our students. When we learn, they learn. We're a community of learners.
Because we do teacher labs, we are constantly being driven by a desire to grow together, to collaborate, to communicate, and to be self-reflective.
They're actually teaching me things sometimes. So that's when you know you're really engaged. I want you to call me over. I'll take a look at your work.
When teachers enhance their craft and improve their skills, then students will improve their level of learning and academic achievement. So teacher labs are a way we formally get teachers together to collaborate.
Thank you all for being here.
Teachers come together, cross-discipline. It's about a 3-hour session around one focus area.
This morning we're focusing on student engagement, specifically student talk.
These kids have got to be engaged in meaningful discourse.
It's facilitated by our instructional specialist. She walks them through a protocol that's very defined with the ultimate purpose of teacher growth.
Somebody volunteers to be a host teacher.
Let's think about how we get there.
Valerie's an 8th grade math teacher, and she wants to get some feedback to improve how students communicate when problem solving.
My biggest goal for the year is trying to get that collaborative work, that collaborative problem solving.
We start off by identifying what student engagement looks like, both from the student side and from the teacher side.
Hopefully we hear kids asking each other questions.
That asking for help without having negative feelings towards themselves or that they think their peers are looking at them differently because they didn't know.
After the discussion, the host teacher speaks to the group about what the lesson is going to be about.
So I've given you handouts that the kids will get.
I talked about the goals of the lesson, what I wanted teachers to look for and observe.
Focus in on how they interact with the task, how engaged they are. Hopefully they'll be able to justify why the correct ways are correct.
By setting the stage, it kind of gets us thinking. Teacher Lab is not just for the host. It is really for every teacher that attends.
Estimates for the population of Brazil.
We go to the host teacher's room, they teach the lesson, and as observers, we will be making notes.
Today we're going to look at population change. I want to start off with a video.
We talked about population growth. It's intriguing to students and something that has some real implications.
How could governments estimate year-to-year population changes without making a complete census?
It led into the math very nicely.
198.78. I was looking for keywords like, let me show you, or how can I help you, or can you explain this better?
What'd you add? Oh, you rounded up to 2.07. Yeah.
After the teachers observe the lesson, we come back and Pauline facilitates the post-discussion, asking the host teacher to just quietly listen.
The process is we all go around and share with Valerie what we noticed. It's very celebratory. The first thing that teachers report back on are the wonderful, amazing things that they saw.
I noticed a lot of math vocabulary when I heard them speaking.
There were mistakes, but they talked about them, and I don't think they ever said you were wrong.
So let's move on to questions. Then they ask wonderings.
I wondered, how do we get kids to that level to say, oh, Eli, we haven't heard from you in a little bit. What are you thinking?
The red light strategy, I was just curious what that was.
The host teacher makes notes on all the questions that everybody had, and then they can respond.
We have a lot of great questions. The red light strategy is a strategy I got from a training over the summer.
Everybody walks away with some new knowledge, some new gained perspective. I've made a student engagement teacher lab page. Just identify a strategy or an action that you want to take back to your classroom and employ.
My big takeaway was that students need support learning how to justify their answers, explain their solutions.
It doesn't show you how it works.
And they need some examples for that. Read the solution. Think about if you have any questions before you get started.
We're really asking teachers to step outside of their comfort zone. We are creatures that live behind closed doors.
Record those estimates.
Normally, nobody ever comes in and sees it.
What'd you get for the change of birth?
To experience being in somebody else's classroom, it's really powerful. What I love about Teacher Labs is we've all got something from it. I think that speaks volumes to the work that you do in your classroom, so thank you so much.